The route to AI adoption is to figure out how to get you from intimidation to inspiration. And one of the most practical ways to do that is show you use cases, some examples to get your creativity going. Glad to be here today. My name is Jahng. I hail from New Jersey, and I've been crisscrossing the country talking about AI to ministry leaders over the last 2 years. What's interesting all the time is at the very beginning I'll poll, who here is using AI on a daily basis? Can you just raise your hand? Daily basis or more? Who here has not used any AI tools yet? Or just used it like once or twice? Okay, still. That's fine. There's a lot of people in that category. And one of the things I'm finding is the route to AI adoption is to figure out how to get you from intimidation to inspiration. And one of the most practical ways to do that is show you use cases, some examples to get your creativity going. And so that's what Chad and the team has asked me today, is to come here in rapid fire, we don't have that much time, to show you what actually could be with AI today. And then here's the caveat. You have to remember that every AI tool that you're using today, that every example that we see today, is the absolute worst version of AI that you will see in your lifetime, right? We talk about AI improvement, advancements in terms of dog years now on my team, right? In a single calendar year, we have 7 leapfrogs of advancement in terms of what we can do with AI today. And so hopefully I'm just going to give you a glimpse of what's happening in our world as of February, March of 2025, but it's only going to get better, okay? So we're going to go through 5 different ways that I think nonprofit ministries here, church leaders, everybody here that is a content producer, that has audiences out there, that you can actually use AI for very interesting use cases. Okay, the first way that I think you could use AI is, oh, by the way, all of our slides, just to shortcut everything, if you want to just take a QR code, I'm going to make all of our slides available, all the links that we mentioned, so you don't need to jot down and scribble anything. I'll send you everything afterwards if you want to just get that QR code. Okay, repurposing is the actual thing that you should be thinking about, whatever role you are in your ministry, if you have to do anything with content and anything with communications with your audiences, okay? And I'm going to go through this 3-part framework that actually I think hopefully opens the eyes in terms of how we can be thinking about repurposing different than just, hey, let's just put something in ChatGPT and summarize it. So mix, what does mix stand for? M is modular. You could use different AI tools for different parts of your workflow. We are now at the point where we have over 1,000 AI tools that were launched, dedicated AI apps in the last quarter. And so we are living that whole phrase of there's an app for it. The problem is that you don't have all the AIs that you can stack together all in one solution yet. We are seeing convergence of tools, but for the most part right now, you are at the buffet and you have to make your own meal. And so this is the part where you say, don't be reliant on just one tool. You need to explore all these others out there. Second one is interactive, that we now have the ability with AI to take one piece of content, one form factor, one modality, one way that we're thinking about it, and then transform it into an interactive experience. So things that typically are a sit and soak type of experience, now you can figure out how to change the modality to interact and actually engage your audiences deeper on topics. And the third one is cross-channel efforts. This is a no-brainer, that we are now having an intern sit with us. This AI is a smart seminary intern that's theologically trained, that actually understands all of the internet, has more well-read than you are, and actually is, and also has a good attitude, but can do all these things for all the other channels that you haven't had the time for. So you can take stuff that is purposed for email and go to another modality like social media, webinars, videos, etc., vice versa. So thinking through those 3 things is what we do when we have workshops and consultations with teams for their editorial calendar, to actually think through how do we leverage these 3 key ideas when we approach content production and remixing things with this mixed framework. So modular, we need to actually figure out how to actually do research, analysis, production of visuals, and editing, all in separate pieces, and then work together in a flow. Can you stack them in some sort of SOP, a standard operating procedure for your teams, so that they can execute content production end to end? So that if you take an AI app that can only do one thing, it's just a novelty. It's a little fun little party trick to do. But if you're able to find the tools that you can go end to end to end to end, then you can actually produce some really robust workflows that replaces some of the stuff that you're doing, but taps the potential beyond that. The I for mix is interactive. So quizzes, journaling, carousels, chatbots, these are new things that we are able to tap if you are a content producer that AI is able to translate and actually repurpose into a different form factor that, again, the number one goal is to get the audience interaction. And the X is cross-channel. Again, you can take a doc and move it to a podcast. You can take blogs and move it to Instagram carousels. You can take videos and create micro email courses, for example. These are things that we never really thought of on a regular basis because it's hard, it's tedious, it's something that really takes really deep thought in terms of how are we going to disrupt what we do on a daily basis to make a project like that happen. And now with AI, it really is fluid and takes the friction out of all this. So I'm going to show you 5 real examples, and hopefully this will just open up your eyes. We don't have time right now to actually go through the how of making these things, so that's why I'll show the QR code at the end. I'll give you some resources, places to actually learn and follow up with me and my team also. But this is just some examples, and hopefully you've seen some of these things, and maybe have the discussions as we go throughout the day and also the roundtables later to brainstorm how to apply some of these things. So the first one is going from content to conversation. So can you take content, no matter what form it is, whether it's PDFs, white papers, webinars, workshops, manuals, trainings, interviews, anything, and go to some other type of form factor like an audio conversation. We know that podcasting is on the rise. We know that podcasting is very intimate. Podcasting is something that really builds the affinity in an accelerated basis between your audience and the brand. And the reason why is there's this thing I call the law of 7-11. You need to spend 7 to 11 hours of time. Whoops, what's going on there? 7 to 11 hours of time with your audiences in order for them to actually engage positively and become raving fans for your brand. Podcasts are something that accelerates that hourglass time with you, okay? So let me just give you one real example of that, is we took something called Google Notebook LM. Who here has heard of Google Notebook LM? I've been working with the Salvation Army on a project recently. We went to the national headquarters and did some training. And what we did was we took some of the articles that they actually did in terms of outreach and care, hurricane relief, right? The Salvation Army is known for that kind of thing. And so we just took a snippet of an article from their site. Now, Google, you can upload up to 300 documents, audio, MP3s, PDFs, Google Docs, that kind of stuff. And so we did that, and then here's the magic. This thing does many things. But one of the things it can do is create a 2-person podcast, all from this thing. So I asked it to create one episode in a series, shining the light of all the good work that the Salvation Army does all over. Imagine a donor engagement podcast, like a private podcast that's shipped to donors only. I wonder if the audio is on for the computer. Let's just listen to the first part of this. I sped this up in true podcast binging fashion to, I think, 1.5x. Can we do fast enough? Let's do 1.5x. Here we go.
All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at, how the Salvation Army just keeps going, especially when things get really tough.
Absolutely.
And we're focusing specifically on their work during hurricane season down in Florida.
Yeah, talk about tough.
I mean, we all know Florida gets hit hard.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going beyond the usual headlines.
Too fast?
Right.
We're going for those did-you-know moments, those stories that really show just how far the Salvation Army goes to be the church, to their neighbors, no matter what.
To the neighbors, exactly.
And the source that sparked this deep dive is actually pretty incredible. It's a news article about their response to Hurricane Milton back in, 2004.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And the thing is, Milton wasn't even the first.
So do you hear that conversation? Like he's even saying, let me check my notes, right? they're interrupting each other, they're chuckling, they're bantering. They actually try to tell jokes with each other in this type of format. This was done with only uploading one blog article from their public website, right? So imagine if you actually gave it much more information. Imagine if you just had a Zoom interview with some people on the ground in that local Salvation Army office and asked them just what happened. Do you have any stories, personal stories? What did you see? Take the transcript and upload it here. Then the podcast hosts would actually have much more fodder to do that with the podcast episode, right? If you have a book, who here has a book in their organization? Who has actually published a book? Anybody published a book by Storyfind? Yeah, back there, yes. So you should take every single chapter and create a podcast episode about that chapter. And now you have a short-form podcast series, a season of a podcast about the topic of your organization. And typically, the book that you actually publish is about your mission, about your vision. It's about your organization. Now you have another interactive way to start to actually spread the word and have discovery, right? Podcast is a discovery platform of your brand. So that's just one way that Google can actually, and this is free. This is Google Notebook. This is totally free. Okay, next one. TLDR, too long, didn't read. So there's a lot of content out there, right? The average YouTube view is 4 minutes and something seconds, right? So what do? You have so many videos on your site that you publish, et cetera, but no one's ever actually watching them. So what you need to do is actually make them snackable. And by that, I mean take long-form content and with AI, identify the key highlight moments, the actual points that will go viral. Take those and actually create, short-form content. So what we can do is we'll take a platform like Sermon Shots. Sermon Shots is a great platform. And all I did here was I actually went to YouTube. My friend Dr. Nicole Massey Martin of Christianity Today, there was a sermon that she gave. Put the link into Sermon Shots. They have over 1,000 templates that then identifies
apart from anything they've done before.
That identifies the sweet spots of the sermon.
We can easily find comfort.
We'll transcribe it. We'll put the subtitles in there, and then you can modify anything and everything of it. In an instant, also, it can do vertical. It can do horizontal. And you can have different reasons for using social videos, right?
You see, there's a thin line between familiarity and unbelief. And there are times when we can become so familiar with someone that we actually stop believing in them and we don't even realize it. We can become so...
And with a push of a button, you can change the template, right? This takes minutes, not hours, and you don't need to know video editing. This is the future, where we're able to take all this kind of stuff that we have and repurpose it so that people actually consume it. And you want to create a funnel where short-form content pushes to mid-form content, pushes to long-form content, right? So you want this funnel of engagement so that you hook them with short-form content and then you bring them down the pathway to engage with you on your site on a deeper level. Does that make sense? Okay, next one is... here's a course. Again, this is in the resource library that we're going to send you. But here's a course teaching you how to use Sermon Shots, how to do sermon repurpose, long-form video repurposing to 10 different ways. Okay, the next one is webinars. A lot of nonprofits have webinars and workshops. They have volunteer trainings. They have all these things that they record. Stuff like this, even today's sessions, right? 5Q and the team here at DMC could take all of our stuff one by one. What can you do with it? Well, we can take each of these recordings and turn them into different modalities, remember? Different modalities. Like an email course, like a 5-day challenge, a 7-day challenge, a little course to get people educated in what you actually do. It's like a little snack, an appetizer, so that they get introduced to what you do, but you're offering immediate value immediately, okay? So, how do we do that? I recently had Zach Zander, good friend Zach Zander, great organization, discipleship organization. He taught on discipleship. I got his PowerPoint presentation. I didn't transcribe it even. I didn't take what he actually taught. I just got his slides. I uploaded that to ChatGPT, and then we actually produced an email-based micro course This microcourse, now you can actually go to the Google Doc and look for it yourself right now and see it. The Google Doc is pretty good, and this is untouched, that you can see this microcourse that says, hey, here's the purpose, this is what we're going to do, here's your preview, day 2, 3, 4, 5. Starts with a big hook. There are 2 problems in discipleship. The one is you have no clear targets. Second one is you're measuring the wrong things. Here's your action step for today, day 2. 5 targets. This is what we should be doing. Here's your action steps. This is something that you can offer as a lead magnet, getting someone's email address so that you can start the conversation on a permission basis with them. And now you know they raise their hand. They're interested in discipleship. If you offer discipleship tools or programs, this is something you can follow up with very easily. And all we did is put into ChatGPT and ask it to take slides. Imagine if I actually had the recording of the workshop or the webinar, or put in some other materials with it. You can actually create something that's super robust. Okay? Okay, let's move this out of the way. Next one is turning teachings into thumb-stopping content. We live in a world that is portrait-sized, right? We don't live on this world anymore. Most consumers spend 4 to 7 hours a day with their phone in their hand. It's kind of sad, but it's true, right? And so why are you trying to reach them via this big device when they have something in their hand all the time? So can you extract the most impactful quotes, teachings, etc. from your content, and then generate either images or videos and push them out into social media? We know, and it feels sometimes that you are on this treadmill of death, not this treadmill. You need to feed that content beast 24/7, right? There's a reason. The algorithms need consistency. Consistency is actually more important many times than the actual polish of your content. So what can we do? In today's world, we now have the ability to go in and take content, put it into AI, and say, hey, what can I do with this? And so this is recently, what I did was I took an interview that I actually had with, let me see if here. I had an interview with Carrie Nieuwhof on AI. I put the transcription and some notes in there. This is, whoops, there it is. This is everything that I put in here. I asked it to extract the best parts of these things. It created a CSV file of these quotes. And all I did is I took a CSV, bulk uploaded it to Canva, and then it created, 20, 25 social media images for me, right? Which you can now download and use periodically. Imagine just one a week for 26 weeks. That covers half a year. That's just one little slot portion in your editorial calendar. If you wanted to actually do video, I did the same thing with these things where you actually have video. And I took the quotes, and each one of these are video. Can you play it in? Right? They have motion behind it. You can put audio, and you can go down one by one. So each one of these quotes now is something that you can put on your timeline. If you go to my TikTok, you'll see I already published the first one here. And so you can fill your content calendar with YouTube Shorts, Reels, TikToks at scale, right? And you can automate it, and then you can cross-post to all these other platforms. This is the world that we live in now, that you, no matter how big or small your team is, you have the ability to take content and repurpose it for other purposes, for other platforms really quickly in a way that actually makes a difference with the algorithms, right? Oh, here's one. Do I still have this up? I wonder if I still have this up. This is a video that we created for a client. It was a Bible or Not quiz. So what we did is we had ChatGPT come up with fact and fiction and create quizzes for Bible or Not. Who's played that Bible or Not game at parties and stuff like that, right? So this is a great youth group thing. And so we created this in bulk in, we did, I think, 40 videos in 45 minutes. It was under an hour. So this is the first video. So it's all animated. It's video. Imagine if you actually even repurposed this to landscape and played it before services or before your program, intermission, during lunch, or on social media, right? So this is stuff that can be created at scale with AI today, and it doesn't cost you anything either. Okay. Moving on. Do we still have, let's see where we are with time. Yeah, so one of the resources is we have monthly workshops, and that was one of the workshops, how to take Canva stuff, bring it into Canva, and produce social media bulk. Another one is AI doppelgangers, right? So which one looks most like me? It's probably the one on here. That's not me, but it's me. Me playing a panda in Central Park. The latest thing is you can train AI to look like yourself. And this is one thing I think every organization should do for your program leaders, for the head of your organization, for people that are visible. Staff visibility is actually something that brings people together. People have relationships with people, not institutions, right? People have relationships with people. They don't have relationships with institutions. And so it is hard to get your staff to have photo shoots and the perfect photos that you can put up there. But now you can actually train the AI for your staff members and then generate images. And imagine doing things, not in these poses, but others, where you actually have text over image, where these images are ghosted in the background, and then you have the ability to produce social videos and images that are, quotes, axioms, stats, facts and figures, testimonials, things like that from your organization, right? Those are the things that you want to do. So, for example, I just came from DFW, and I asked AI on my phone in the car over to create an image of me. I'm from New Jersey, New York, so with a Yankees hat at DFW, right? That looks like me, but that's not me, but that is me, but that's not me, right? And so now you have the ability to do this at scale, on demand, and you could use it in so many different ways, right? Especially think about testimonials, right? A lot of times testimonials of nonprofit ministries, the person doesn't necessarily have the best photography available and you can't arrange a photo shoot. Now you can actually give them their best foot forward visually when they're actually in your marketing collateral, your donor development materials, so that everyone feels so much warmer and relatable to the actual subjects that you're actually featuring in your collateral. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are the 5 ways that I think you can do it. And remember, there are 3 things in the mix framework that allow you to open up new possibilities. Think modular. There's an app for that, but you got to use more than one today, and you need to start to explore and discover them. 2 is interactive. You need to always push. What we're going toward always is actual relational community and connections. So it's no longer just post it and leave, right? It's not spray and pray. You need to work through how do you get to the point where things are relational, and that's interactivity. And the last one is cross-channel. We have the ability to actually be present in more places. You want to be where the people are. Bring your ministry to them. Don't make them come to you. And so this is why social media, for all the things that it's negative for, and I think we all realize that this whole human experiment we call social media probably wasn't a good thing overall. There are great things for purpose-driven organizations that want to bring you closer and develop those relationships. You want to nurture raving fans for your brands, and doing it in a purposeful way using AI is going to be gives you options so that you can use AI for good. Okay, next steps. Here are some URLs I'm going to give you. If you wanted to hit the QR code, fill in the form, I'll send you these slides, a bunch of links, and other tips and tricks. We also have a community online of, we're reaching 7,000 ministry leaders that basically are trading notes every day about AI tools just like this. And this is just one of those places where every audience and room that I'm going into, the commission that I say to you at the end is, your job is not to become the AI expert in your own neighborhood. Your number one job right now as a leader in ministry is to become the starter of conversations about AI. How do we use it? How is it good? How is it bad? How can we use it for our own good for the gospel? I'm Kenny Jahng. Thank you for having me.